Welcome to it, sports fans. A different ball game. It is the 15th, 1 month exactly since this show began. So we made it through 1 month without me burning the studio down. Great success. Great success. Much longer, a month longer than I thought I'd go without burning it down. It is a pleasure to have you with us. Special show today. We've got one of the greatest to ever do it out of the United Kingdom as our guest. He'll be coming up in a little bit. But before that, we've got, of course, Woude Muller, who will tell us who her best left winger is in the history of Springbok rugby at the World Cup. And then I'll tell you England's dilemma in the cricket, because they have a true dilemma right now in Test cricket. They are 1-0 down in the Test series. We'll get to that. We'll begin with our guest, though. But before we get to that, let me introduce Woude Muller. Woude, what's happening?
Hey, all good, all good. Congratulations on the show, being there for a month. Very proud of you, I must say. And I'm going to give myself a pat on the back for also keeping up with you.
For surviving. Yeah, I would say. Listen, anybody who knows me would say you deserve a hell of a lot of credit.
Yeah. Everyone who's listening to this, you have no idea what hard work it is. But it's all worth it. That's what I can add.
True that. Hey, true that. Hard work. Hard work. Can't deny that. I am hard work. Shocker that I'm single. But Woude, good to see you, man. Good to see you.
It's so nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice to be back. I missed you guys last night.
Looking sprightly. How's the baby? Because your brother had a second baby for whatever reason.
Yeah, we still haven't been able to see the baby. They're coming out of hospital tomorrow. So finally tomorrow I'll be able to see the baby first.
Okay, well, I mean, that's going to happen. Listen, babies are... Yeah?
It's also my birthday on Saturday.
Okay, to tell us a bit more about it. You still celebrate birthdays? Do people still celebrate birthdays? I mean, you've had
I love my birthday.
I
love my birthday. So it's the one day where I don't have to pretend to not like being the center of attention. So I literally tell everyone it's my birthday. Like other days, you kind of have to pretend like, oh no, it's fine. I don't want to be the center of attention. On your birthday, you don't have to pretend. You can literally just get all the attention.
So tell me, go ahead.
Yeah. No.
I was going to say, at your age, do you still like to get presents or do you just like to get money because you've seen everything in the world?
Well, actually, I don't like getting presents for me. I do, however, celebrate a birthday with late Nelson Mandela. So I prefer to get things for charity, and I always do a massive charity drive on Mandela Day. So this is exactly what we're going to do on Saturday. So we're actually going to 5,000 people on Saturday, and we're giving food and sanitary products for 5,000 people on Saturday.
Awesome. And so where can people go to if they want to contribute or anything like that? Is there a website or how do we get involved?
So I will post it on my social media, but if you do want to, you can contact me. You can send me a DM on Instagram or Facebook, and I can give you more information from that. But we are partnering with Sivengesi, with MSAP, and with O'Graceland to feed 5,000 people on Saturday. And the biggest drive also for us is the sanitary products. So anyone that can give us anything with that, it will be absolutely amazing.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll put all of the details in the description. So where you can donate, however you can get involved. We'll put the website. If there's anything like that, Woude will send it on to me, and we will make sure that it's in the description because we're all about a good cause and building a better South Africa. Woude Muller, great to have you back.
It's nice to be here.
All righty, let's get to it. So I said we've got a special guest today. We do. He's one of the greatest to ever do it. Ladies and gentlemen, it really is my absolute pleasure. And in the next little bit, I will introduce our guest, and then we will have the honor of having true greatness come and chat to us from the Republic of South Africa. He is all the way in the United Kingdom, ladies and gentlemen. He will be coming up just after. We'll obviously give you a graphic to let you know who that is. We'll have a minute break, and then we will go to our guest. I cannot wait to welcome him. It is going to be absolutely electric because he's been incredible. He's really been incredible. Nothing short of it. Something like 43 wins on major professional or professional wins. 43. That's insane. That's Woude's age next week. She's about 43, give or take. Carry the one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, he's coming up after this. Yes, we've actually dragged him away from the football, ladies and gentlemen. I know being dragged away from football is like absolute murder. Now he's not like you glory hunters out there. He supports his team where he was born. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce our guest for today. So, ladies and gentlemen, two-time European Order of Merit winner, three-time Nedbank Golf Challenge winner. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the finest out of the United Kingdom to ever do it, coming out of Worksop, Nottinghamshire, England, 43-time tournament winner, Lee Westwood. Yes, come on, Lee. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. I don't think I've ever been introduced like that before.
Hey, when you got the finest, you got to bring the A game. Lee, an absolute honor. By the way, I said I dragged you away from the football. Give us a score update. Nottingham Forest, like aficionado.
Nottingham Forest is 1-1 after 35 minutes. It is on my laptop just down here.
All right. Well, we're holding thumbs. We'll take you through to halftime and then we'll let you go. Lee, let's get straight into it. Lee, I want to start in the present. I kind of wanted to talk about your career, and I just thought about what I saw in Abu Dhabi and your interview. You got so emotional there. What is it that made you that emotional? Because I loved what you said, but there may be people who didn't see that interview because you were so emotional. I just, that captured the essence of sport. What was it about winning in Abu Dhabi that was special?
I just think it gets harder to win as you get older, and it gets harder to control your emotions as you get older as well. You obviously go through more things through your life the older you get, and I've worked with a psychologist, and he's been getting me to control my emotions on the golf course. But when everything was done and I'd won the tournament, then I could let my emotions go. It turned into a couple of tears.
And I loved it. I loved it because so often we seek to control that. But it's like, one thing I've always liked about you, and probably more the British guys, you guys tend to be a little bit more boisterous and connected to us. I mean, I loved watching Clark win, of course, the Open. And I love watching you British guys because you've got that thing. I don't know what it is, man. So I must commend you to be that vulnerable and to show that, hey, I'm just a man. That's just incredible. You spoke there about your emotions, controlling them on the golf course. Is there a sport that requires more mental focus and sort of emotional energy than golf?
Well, I mean, it goes on for such a long time, doesn't it? A round of golf's 5 hours, and you turn your concentration and your emotions on and off, and it lasts for 4 days as well. So, you have to control all that over a long period of time. So you can't afford to, think about golf for 4 days. You have to be able to get away from it. And obviously, there's testing times out there. You get a lot of time to think about various shots as well. It'll take you 5 minutes to get from your tee shot to your second shot. So, I mean, it's a pretty tough sport mentally. There's no doubt about that. I'm sure there are other tough sports where you have to control your hands and you can get the shakes, and I guess snooker or something like that. it would come into play. You hear about that, and tennis players, they're individuals, but the ball's coming onto them, you see, so they don't have so much time to think about it. Whereas golf, you have a lot of time to think about it.
Quite right. And Lee, talk to me. You've just spoken about something beautifully, the mental control. When you think back of yourself at 20, I mean, when it's like we all heard, okay, there's a guy coming, what was it that took you from, okay, I'm now the new guy on the scene to professional golfer? Was there a transition tournament for you? Was there a seminal moment? When did you go from good prospect to Lee Westwood, let's call him the golfer? The pro.
Yeah, I think, I know what you mean. Was there like a light bulb moment where, I guess when I got into contention the first time and I felt comfortable, it wasn't when I was in my 20s. It wasn't when I was 20. It was a couple of years, about 3 years on tour, before I really felt comfortable. I contended for the Italian Open 1 year, and I actually blew it, but I felt comfortable, being in that situation. I had a couple of bad shots, which I accepted, and I got back into the event.
So you speak of that. You are the real deal, and of course, a connection to you. You've won Africa's major 3 times. And talk to me why you think you're so successful here. Is it our good-looking women? Is it the great food? Is it the weather? I mean, I know your story is around, so you don't have to answer the woman one. But what is it about South Africa that you feel so connected to?
Well, I've been coming down to South Africa for a long, long time. One of my first ever tournaments was down there, and I'm a big meat lover, so you love your steaks down there, don't you? So I'm always proteining up. I love Sun City. I love the golf course there. It suits my game. You have to hit a lot of fairways around there. I love playing in the heat. I love playing at altitude. So it all just fits my game, really.
Man, that's awesome. And when it's crunch time, like it was in a derby, and like it's a few times, I believe that you've crossed the winner's checkered line, what are your sort of swing thoughts when it's really what Fergie called squeaky bum time? What is going through your mind at that stage? You're in the bunker, you got to sit down on. It's the 15th, on Sunday. What's going through Lee Westwood's mind to make sure that he sticks with things?
They're the times where you just have to go through your process, really, and you have to rely on all the hard work you've done away from the golf course and away from tournaments. A lot of people see like Lee Westwood, the golfer, playing in the Nedbank Challenge, but they don't see Lee Westwood, the golfer, practicing his game, say this afternoon at Close House. Practicing, going in the gym, keeping myself fit and flexible, working with psychologists. So you do a lot of work away from the golf course that people don't see, and that's the work that you fall back on when you're in contention.
How much practice are you still doing today? Because, I mean, you're a maestro, but today, how many rounds are you putting in daily, per week? Do you have a number?
No, I don't hit as many balls as I used to. I'm 47 years of age now, and I just feel like I've got the swing that I've got, and I just fine tune it and tweak it and work on my timing. I work on my short game a lot. I work on my putting a lot. I work on the psychology part of the game a lot. So, for me, it's getting those things right, and being fit and ready to play when the tournament starts on a Thursday. So the British Masters is next week. So, I'm doing a lot of short game work and a lot of putting work going into that because I haven't been competitive for a lot of months. We haven't played a tournament for 4 or 5 months. I know that'll be the thing that I'm rusty with. So that's the thing that I'm working on the hardest: short game and putting.
All right. Well, you've brought up the Masters next week. Of course, the British Masters next week. You are hosting the British Masters. Lee, you want to talk us through that? Which initiatives? I think it's important. We note that you aren't just the guy who's doing it for the money and the glory. I know you've always been a community guy. Talk me through your partnership with Bedfred. Of course, you are the host. Talk me through it and what exactly we can look forward to in the Masters.
Yeah, so the British Masters is next week at Close House. Betfred are the sponsors, but it's the first tournament on the UK swing, getting the European Tour going again. There's 6 tournaments on the UK swing, and I guess, the Betfred British Masters is the one with the biggest purse, I guess the most prestigious one. I'm hosting it. There's proceeds go to the Graham Wiley Foundation. That's the charity that's been designated as the tournament charity. we're playing behind closed doors, so that's a shame. You know, the people from the area can't come and watch. But by holding the tournament and giving money to local charities, we're trying to benefit the local area.
And so can the public donate to certain sites? I mean, we can obviously put it in the description, wherever people can donate. Is there public funding pages?
I don't know whether there is, but the European Tour have donated money to Sir Graham Wiley's the Sir Graham Wiley Foundation. They've already done that. So, you know, we've set aside, I think it's £300,000,
Wow.
so we can donate 50,000 to the local area that each tour is being held in, which is a nice way to, you know, give back to the local areas that have helped us out and helped us to stage tournaments.
So, Lee, when you win, please can you come back on this show? We want the exclusive scoop. And you'll notice I said when you win, not if you win. Please come back here. This is the place now you have to come and deliver your winning speech with the trophy.
Yeah, for sure. If I'm not crying.
No. In fact, if you cry, all the better. All the better.
Even better, yeah.
Yeah, all the better. Listen, Lee, what I wanted to talk to you about as well is we've spoken about your career. When you see young talent, can you spot raw talent with the mental side? Can you now, with your experience, spot a guy who's going to make it to the top, and those guys that are, for lack of a better term, too big time Charlie early on? Can you separate those two and you go, oh yeah, there's a guy who's going to make it? And if there is one right now that you think we should be excited about, who is it?
Well, you can walk up and down a driving range and you can see players that maybe hit it a little bit better than others, but you can't see inside people's heads, and it's the mentality that separates the good players from the great players, the ones that go on and win multiple. So, you know, you can't call that, but you can definitely walk up and down a range and see the better ball strikers for sure.
And is there one in your mind, perhaps a little diamond in the rough in England, there in the UK, somewhere that hasn't quite broken onto the television scene? But is there one we should maybe be excited about as sports fans that you maybe want to recommend?
I haven't seen anybody play any golf for 5 months.
All right, yeah, coronavirus and elbow drop all of us.
Yeah, but there are lots. Obviously, there are lots of great players, you know, coming out all the time. But like I said, it's just those that can move on to the next level if they've got it right mentally.
Sometimes people don't acknowledge this about sportsmen, and particularly golfers. I know you're creatures of habit. Repetition is everything for you. What has it been like not being able to move freely in order to repeat your cycle? I mean, there were months where we rarely were closeted in our homes. What's it been for you, a man who has essentially for the last 2 decades, your life has been up, driving range, tournament, play, family. You know, you had a structure. All great sportsmen are creatures of habit. What's it been like for you to have that broken for the first time in 2 decades, mentally as well as physically, I'd imagine?
Yeah, I mean, at the start it was quite strange, but you know, I decided to give myself a structure, and that structure was working on, you know, my physical fitness and working in the gym. I've lost something like nearly 30 pounds during the lockdown, so I'm a lot lighter, and I've been doing weights, so I'm a lot stronger as well. Obviously, I haven't been able to hit the balls or I wasn't able to hit the balls in the first 5 or 6 weeks of lockdown, but I did all the work in the gym, and then when golf courses did open up, I've played quite a lot. My son likes to play golf. He's a good golfer. He's off single figures, and we've been out, and I probably played more in the lockdown than I would without the lockdown when I'm playing tournaments. So yeah.
Wow.
So
how about that?
I'll definitely know close house well, because we've been on it nearly every day out the last 3 months.
Hey, when you win, I told you where you have to come. Listen, I want you to save the tears. I want every single tear on this show. Hey, Lee, let me tell you, let me tell you one of the greatest moments in sporting history. Medina, the miracle. What was it? 2012, I think it was. Talk to me about being a part of the Ryder Cup #1. What does that mean to you, and what's that like? And then talk us through Medina. I won't interrupt you. That was outrageous. What was it like afterwards? Just everything about it.
Yeah, obviously, you know, representing Europe in the Ryder Cup is very special. I've got to do it 10 times, but there are certain special days that I think sports fans remember, not just golf fans, sports fans. And I think the Ryder Cup appeals to people that don't play golf as well, you know. And that last day in Chicago at Medina was just one of those days that hardly ever happen. When you're playing at time player in it, you don't really understand what's going on around you. You're just focusing on your match and trying to win your point. But and you know something good is happening, but it was only when you sit down afterwards and you watch the video rerun of what's going on do you realise that so many good things happened and everything clicked into play and went right for us. And you know, obviously, it was one of the greatest comebacks in sports that I think any sport has ever seen, not just golf.
Yeah, that was absolutely remarkable. What was the party like afterwards? How long till you didn't go to bed? Was it like an 18-hour just celebration?
I can't remember. I'd had too much to drink.
And fair enough. Listen, there's the guy with the most ridiculous pants in the world. He supports Arsenal, and I don't even know why we even bring him up because of his football club. But Ian Poulter, what is it about Poulter that makes him so special in team play?
Great putter. That's what makes him a great match play and Ryder Cup player. You know, he hits it well tee to green, but it's not his strength. You wouldn't say, oh yeah, he's a fantastic player tee to green. He's just very good at that. But then on and around the greens, that's when his game really comes to the fore. And you know, he's got nerve. You know, he'll make that putt when you need him to make that putt. So and he's got a great personality as well. He's fun in the team room.
What's he like? Is he just full on? Is that him all the time? Like, do his clothes embody what Ian Poulter is all about?
Gregarious, over the top. Yeah, that's definitely Ian. He's got a great sense of humour. We got on really well. He's one of the fun guys to play. For me, he's one of the fun guys to play with. You know, if we're ever drawn together, I look forward to playing with Ian.
Well, I can't wait to meet him so I could rag him about Arsenal. So when you do speak to him, tell him some guy in South Africa you have never met or heard about is having a laugh at the Gunners and reveling as a Chelsea fan in his misery.
Yeah. It's too easy to take the mickey out of Arsenal at the moment. You know, there's just so many. Where do you start? That's so bad.
Well, listen. I've been watching you and that KP guy on these stationary bikes, and I'm kind of thinking, hey, they should maybe get you two to get on. Talk to me about the stationary bike movement. By the way, Woude, who you met earlier, I just want to tell you, who's on our show, fell off a stationary bike. I just want to tell you what type of show you're dealing with here.
It's easy done. You know, you get your feet stuck. You get your feet stuck in those pedals, and you know you're going fast. You know, I can see how it happens.
So, are you the guy on the pedal bike now? Are you competing with KP? What's the story there? You got a little something. I saw the video on Instagram where you and all the golfers, and you were still on the pedal bike. I found that hilarious while Harrington was waiting for you.
Yeah. We've done a few rides together on the Watt bike with the Zwift app, and he's a strong guy, and he's got a few years on me as well. You know, I'm just an old unfit golfer, so I play that card when I'm doing a ride with KP.
I love it. Lee, before we let you go, I just want to ask you, you're obviously not doing it for the money anymore. Okay, you've won enough.
Oh yeah, still do it for that.
You've never enough money, huh?
No, well, you know, there's always an extension needs building on the house or something like that.
That's true. You can never have enough money. Lee, you've been so kind with your time, and I hope we're going into half time there so we don't cut into the football. Would you be willing to take some questions from our lovely audience, our beloved audience who love you, Lee?
Yeah, sure. Fire away. Go on.
Yeah. So before we get to those questions, I just wanted to ask you from a personal point of view. Outside of the money, of course, you can never have enough money, but what does the game of golf mean to you? Because when I saw you in Abu Dhabi, I was like, that's not a guy who's playing golf. That's a man in love with golf. This seems to mean a bit more than just pitching up and playing. What does the game mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, you've hit the nail on the head there. You know, I just love playing golf. You know, I've played during lockdown. I go out and play with my friends, and you've got to love golf to be 47 years of age and still wanting to practice hard, to go out on the range when it's cold and windy, and you know, just keep driving yourself on and keeping competitive and trying to take on these young lads. You know, that's I just love the challenge of the game and the challenge of competing against people.
Hey, speaking of challenges and being in great shape, by the way, your guns are looking proper. I can see you have been working hard. Talk me through Bryson DeChambeau. I don't know if you saw his workout in lockdown. 9 protein shakes a day. The guy came in 40 pounds heavier. I'm sure you saw what he did at the last tournament there where he blew Ricky Fowler in the field away. My God, DeChambeau.
Yeah, it's impressive what he's done with his body over such a short period of time. He's not hitting the ball further because of technology or anything like that. He's hitting it because he's gone in the gym and he's built himself up and he's got stronger and more powerful and more speed. So, every credit to him. He's changed the game over a short period of time there.
He really has. And Lee, that's something I've always wanted to talk about. This will be my last question. We'll take some questions from the public. There's the European tour and there's the American tour. I mean, I don't want to say one's harder or easier, but my question to you is the American one more of a grind purely because America is so vast, or would you say both have their different challenges? Which one's harder for you in terms of competition and just playing the tour as a mental grind?
Yeah, I think both have their, positives and both have their minuses. I like the diversity of the European tour, the fact that we go and play in countries all over the world and we experience different cultures and things like that, different foods. And whereas the US tour obviously is all staged in America, and there's not as much travel, there's not as much changing from time zones, and it's a much easier tour to play because it's all in one country.
Ah, man, that's awesome. Hey, Lee, I really, really appreciate you coming on, dude. You are a legend. And by the way, you look in great shape because I know 25-year-olds that are not in that shape. So inspirational. By the way, for everybody who's just joining out, when Lee wins the British Masters next week, he's coming on here. He's going to cry. So bring presents. I don't know what Lee likes, but we'll kind of make him feel comfortable. Lee, let's take some questions and then we'll let you go to Nottingham Forest and hopefully a 5-1 victory.
Oh, we're losing 2-1.
Oh, it's only half time. Make it 5-2 then. Sorry, I meant 5-2.
Right, that's all I like.
Come on, Forrest. The Golf Channel says, who's the greatest golfer? Westwood, Woods, or someone else?
Jack Nicklaus.
Oh, really? You still think Nicklaus ahead of Wood?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Tiger's own word. It's all about the majors, and Jack's won the most majors, so Jack, isn't it?
Simple question, simple answer. That. Next one, Dave. A Golf and Harry channel says, tell us your best story from a tour.
Oh, so many. There's quite a lot I can't tell. It'd take me ages to tell some of the best stories. Honestly, most of them come from the Ryder Cup. There's some great ones at the Ryder Cup.
Would that be smoking cigars with With
that, I don't smoke cigars, so no. I can't go to them. It'd take me too long. There's so many good ones.
No, fair enough. Tim Cully says, aspirations to be Ryder Cup captain, and which captain was the best to play for? Tim Cully.
Yeah, I would love to be Ryder Cup captain, sometime future. I would like to play in the next one. Obviously, I've got a chance of making that team, but maybe in Italy the time after that, I'd like to put my name down for that. As for the best captain, they've all been very good. Thomas Bjorn last time round was excellent. Paul McGinley's been great. Bernard Langer was good. Seve, my first one, was obviously inspirational. I guess it always goes, if you won it, you were a good captain, and if you lost it, you were a poor one. But all the captains I've played under, a lot of them have done things that I've thought, yeah, that was good, and then things where I've thought maybe I wouldn't have done it like that. But all our strengths for sure. And at the end of the day, it's just how the team performs that one week and who holds the most putts. Hopefully, it's the Europeans, but it's not always like that.
It really is. What you should do when you're captain is everybody has to wear a Nottingham Forest shirt, regardless of where they're from. If you're from Barcelona, we don't care. Take that Catalunya nonsense off. You get yourself a Nottingham Forest shirt. Lee, one more question. We'll let you go. Go ahead.
I would love to see him. I would love to see him Poulter in a Nottingham Forest shirt. That would be great.
Hey,
that would be better than seeing him in a Spurs shirt.
Oh, listen, at the moment, not much difference between Nottingham Forest and Arsenal, really. So it might be an upgrade, actually. They've got at least you have 3 Champions League titles. Ooh. What do they have?
2 we've got 2.
Oh, 2. Yeah. The great Nottingham Forest
but
team,
they don't
of course.
have any, so.
They don't. Thierry Henry split the dummy in the final. Jens Lehmann, don't get sent off. We all remember that. One more from Jesse Randolph to the great Lee Westwood. How does Lee think no crowds will affect the competition? I presume that's just in general, Lee.
Yeah, it changes the atmosphere of a tournament completely. But one thing we do as professionals is try and focus on on what we're doing and kind of ignore what's going on out the ropes. So, you know, you won't be able to feed off the energy of the crowd. There are a lot of people that do feed off the energy of the crowd. There's a lot of people that play better when there's nobody watching them. They feel under pressure if there's a lot of people watching them. So it'll affect different players in different ways. I personally like the atmosphere and, you know, like playing in front of people. But, you know, you'll see some people play better in these tournaments than they would ordinarily when there are a lot of people watching.
Wow. Hey, man, that is absolutely awesome. Lee, before I let you go, for your beloved fans, how many more years can we expect from you? Because you got your LeBron James revenge body. I can see that now. Those guns are electrifying, by the way. Dangerous. Look at those things popping. You're going to need some new shirts. You're going to need some new shirts because those guns are for real.
These are new shirts. The more weight you lose and the bigger you get, the tighter the shirts go. So
okay.
That's the old trick.
You're going the DeChambeau of the United Kingdom. I love it. Lee, talk to me. How many more years, realistically? I mean, you're a champion. You know, you're a warrior. You're in the cage. Yeah. How many more years do you think you want to go for at the top?
I think as long as I'm competitive, as long as I'm enjoying it,
yeah.
You know, I'll and as long as I want to keep working hard, I will keep playing. You know, why put a number on it? So. It's open ended. I have no idea. I don't want to say 2 years, 3 years. If it's another 8 years and I'm still competitive, then great.
Love it. Going to take the Bernard Langer approach. Just keep playing. Just keep playing and being great.
Why not?
Absolutely love it. Lee, you're special, man, and I really, really appreciate the amount of time you've given us. I cannot wait to chat to you, obviously next Monday or the Monday after, once you've won the British Masters. I can't wait to have a chat and have a cry with you.
That's right, you're on.
Aha, you're on. Oh, man, the finest from Nottinghamshire, England workshop. Thank you so much. You're a legend, Lee, and I can only wish you the best. And everybody next week, I can't wait for you guys to roll out. I miss sport so much. I miss seeing you guys compete on Sundays. So keep rocking, brother. You're an inspiration. And next time you come to the Nedbank Golf Challenge, by the way, you probably need a media team. I'll see you there.
Okay, thanks very much.
Lee, good luck. Good luck in the second half there to Nottingham Forest. Cheers. The great Lee Westwood, ladies and gentlemen. That is awesome. What a cool guy. What a cool dude. Man. So we'll be chatting to him I mean, my God, did you see his guns? Wow. That guy's been working out. 47. Are you kidding me? Looks better than me. I just turned 34. I'm a disgrace to my family. If my mother's watching this, Mom, I'm sorry. That's what I should look like. Wow. No wonder you needed new shirts. Those guns are out of hand. Lee Westwood, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, we're going to bring you the finest. Cliff Central Sport, Big Shot Media, doing our thing. But now that we've spoken to the greatest, we're going to talk about the greatest. We're going to talk about these guys. I mean, they produced so many tries, all of them. They have something in common. They were all the left wingers for the Springbok team. Woude Muller is going to pick her GOAT. With that, I hand you over to the skip pass.
Yeah, look, I don't know if any of these players really live up to the standard that we just had from Lee Westwood. It was amazing having him and listening to his stuff. But yes, going through every Wednesday, we've kind of been going through the respective Springbok teams. We played in the World Cup final, the 95, 2007, 2019. I started picking from the back. So my fullback was Percy Montgomery, 14 wing Cheslin Colby. Then I had Jacques Fourie on outside center and Henny Leroux on inside center. But because this is my own show, I can change rules as I please. And I actually ended up picking Jean de Villiers, and I just kind of made up my own rules for picking him there. 1, because he's absolutely brilliant. 2, because he's one of my favorite rugby players of all time. So those are the first 4. Today we look at the left wing, number 11, or as some of the very intelligent people want to call it, the blind side wing. We've got Chester Williams from 1995. Then we've got Brian Abana from 2007 and Makazole Mapimpi 2019. So obviously, what do you expect from a wing? You want them to be amazing finishers and you want them to score tries. And this is one thing that all of these 3 players have definitely done throughout their careers, especially in the World Cup that they played in. Starting with Chester, He didn't originally play in the World Cup because unfortunately he got injured. He injured his hamstring just before the World Cup, which was very unfortunate because he was definitely the first choice wing at that point. But he took over from Peter Hendricks, who obviously got suspended because he was involved in that whole brawl against Canada, same one that James Dalton was involved in, and he got suspended for the quarterfinal, semi-final, and the final. So luckily Chester came back in, and in the first match in the quarterfinal against Samoa, obviously scored 4 tries. He was the darling of the 1995 team. He was absolutely amazing, and we really miss him in this world, and rest in peace, Chester Williams. He was an amazing player at that point, with everything that he needed to go through, being the only black player in the team. Amazing work from an amazing guy. 2007, we had Brian Abana. In that tournament, specifically 2007, he scored 8 tries, which is equal to the tournament record set by the great Jono Lomo in 1999. And then 2019, we have Makazola Mapimpi. First person to score a try in a World Cup final. He scored 6 tries in the World Cup tournament, and he scored 14 tries from 14 tests. The big, stocky guy who can really get over the try line. So absolutely amazing what he's done. But it's an easy pick this week. If you are going to argue with me that this person is not the best left wing in our country, then we might as well finish this conversation, and I don't want to talk to you anymore. It has to be Brian Abana. Anyone who leaves Brian Abana out of any of the teams, any South African team, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, look at that. 124 tests, 67 test tries, which is the highest Springbok tries and the second highest of all time in the world. 8 tries in a single World Cup, and then he scored 15 tries in a Rugby World Cup in the 3 respective World Cups, 2007, 11, and 15 that he played in. And that is equal to the amount of tries that Jono Lomo scored in the World Cups that he played in. Albeit, Jono Lomo did it in 2 World Cups, not in 3. So there's maybe no comparison between Brian and Jono, but definitely Brian Abana, the best wing in South Africa. I think when we also look at Brian Abana's titles and his honors, I mean, that puts him even more step ahead than anyone else. Won the World Cup in 2007, the British and Irish Lions in 2009, Tri-Nations 2009. He won Super Rugby, Currie Cups, Top 14 when he played for Toulon, and he won Champions Cup when he was playing for Toulon. He won Player of the Year in 2007. He was South African Player of the Year 3 times, 2005, 2007, and 2012. And he won Try of the Year in 2012. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, but after 2007, there was a bit of a drought, and he lost a bit of his mojo really playing. There was a time, I think in 2011 World Cup, he actually only scored 2 tries. But he came back in 2015 and he made it, scored a hat trick. He was just incredible again. And it's amazing for a guy of that age, a wing of that age, to be able to still keep the speed that he had. Because one thing we can say about this guy, he was quick. He was quick off the mark. He was definitely one of the fastest rugby players. So definitely I'm picking him. But I am going to say this about Mapimpi. I think Mapimpi is quite unfortunate in the fact that he's 27 already. He might still have another World Cup in him, but it would have been really interesting to see what he could have brought us if he actually started playing rugby earlier, because in a very short time, he developed in really an incredible wing. So he would have maybe been able to develop into a complete player and into the complete wing if he had the time to develop. Unfortunately, I don't think that is going to happen because he just doesn't have the time as a player and as a wing to be able to do that. So, Abana was also not flawless. He didn't read the defense very well. He was solid under the high ball, but on defense, he was okay. He was much more known for his intercepts than his actual tackling. And we can never forget the moment when the USA wing, I think it's Ngwenya, blitzed, past him. He went inside out, around a banner, down the sideline, heading down the sideline, and he scored a try. That's one thing that I think Banner would definitely want to forget. Like I said, he lost a little bit of steam, but he picked it up again. And Banner, I think all in all, not the absolute complete winger, but from a winger, you want them to be the showman of the team, and he's chosen for his flair and his speed and his elusiveness, and that's definitely something that a banner had. So yes, JC, definitely Brian Abana. And Bolelo, I don't think you could disagree with me at all on this one.
Vody, I think it's closer than you think. Brian Abana, not your classic wing. One thing I never loved about him, listen, great player. South African wings, we picked defensive wings. One thing I didn't love about him, I love wingers that take people on the outside. And that moment you just spoke about, Totenda Ngwenya, when he burnt him on the outside. I think if there is one criticism of a man who Habana became, like you said, almost a complete wing, and I think I don't want to point out the things you've already spoken about. If I had one criticism, didn't stay on the wing enough, so almost came inside and became a third center, and maybe that was because of Jake, and he had to come look for work. I think it's closer than you think. I really love Makazola Mapimpi because what he gives you is he's willing to take people on the outside, and I really like that in a wing. I mean, my favorite is Christian Cullen's probably my favorite rugby player of all time, but it's Jeff Wilson and Campese. They willing to take guys on the touchline. Did Habana ever do that? Like, what did you say about the intercepts? He was known that more for that.
He was known for his intercepts, yeah.
You know, more than open play. To be honest with you, I think it's probably closer than people think because Mapimpi wins the British Lions next year, and he's only 31 at the next World Cup. What happens if he wins 2, Vody? I wanted to ask you, what happens if Mapimpi wins 2 World Cups and a British Lions? Are we having a different conversation then?
So I think, obviously, also, well, we can go look again at what Abana has done and all his accolades, but is that what you can really pick a player on? If you're going to pick a player for playing 100 tests for South Africa, it still doesn't mean that they're one of some of the best rugby players in the world. Probably one of the only best rugby players in the world, South African, who's played more than 100 tests, which you will pick in any team in the world, is probably Victor Matfield. Even someone like John de Villiers, again, now with Brian Abana, I mean, you won't necessarily pick them for the best 15 side in the world. In South Africa, I think what makes it difficult for our players is the fact that we play such a different structure. And that's maybe why Habana was coming more in. Because also as a left wing, you have to go look for work. You have to constantly move, and your work rate off the ball is so high. And you constantly have to move and go look and make those opportunities and make them happen and put yourself in a position to score tries. Maybe that's what Abana needed to do in that team to really be able to be the wing that we expected him to be.
Great point.
Makazola Mapimpi, I love Mapimpi. I think he's such a great player. Like I said, it's just such a pity that he started playing so late because in such a short time, he has developed into almost a complete wing. He's not there yet. And I'm hoping in the next 4 years, he'll be able to do that. If he can kind of go on the slope that he's on at the moment, with just developing better and better. And I think at the Sharks, under Sean Everett, he's doing such a great job to develop as a player. Maybe now also playing overseas, he might develop a little bit more. So we might be having a different discussion in 4 years' time or 3 years' time. But for now, definitely it has to be Brian Abana. But I am going to say this. If you have to pick the top 5 wings in the world ever played, I mean, we would talk about the likes of Jonah Lomo, David Campese, Joe Rokokoko. You cannot bring Brian Abana's name into that list. Would he slot into number 5?
I'd probably have him over Jonah Lomu. Jonah Lomu couldn't catch the ball, really.
Oh, no. Come on. Jonah Lomu was the wing that made everything happen.
He did. First superstar rugby ever had.
Yes.
But sorry, I'm hypercritical. Jonah, probably more hype than quality, but a bit of a Mike Tyson thing is he got exposed. I mean, James Small kind of got to him, right? Is once you took the physicality out of Jonah's game, he had nothing else. But I don't know. What do you think?
Well, like I say, Jonah still scored 15 tries in 2 World Cups. So
sure.
He scored 8 tries in 1 World Cup. So he still made it happen. So maybe it was just such a big player and he was so physical. Yes, you could get tackled, but you still needed to get around people to score those tries. And in 2 World Cups doing all of that, I don't know. I would definitely put him in my top 5. Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, before we end off the skip pass, then I ask you, if I had to say to you right now, peak Jonah Lomu, right?
Yeah.
Or peak Julian Sevilla, who do you take and why?
Oh, no. Come on.
Well, hey, you're the one that told me. You told me he's top 5. So peak Jonah Lomu, right? Or peak Julian Sevilla. Who do you pick? And this will be to close out the skip pass for today.
Oh.
Who do you pick and why? Why do you pick that person over the other?
Well, I think Jonah also obviously played a lot of his rugby and professional era, so that kind of counts against him. Julian is an absolutely brilliant player, and I actually saw a question that someone asked, and they said, should the All Blacks bring him back now?
Wow. Okay.
So that just shows you the absolute class of player that Julian Sevilla is. And I absolutely love him as a player, and he's probably one of those complete wings, 11 wings if you want to call it that we could see. But picking, I really just like Jonah Lomu, that big, strong running. But I guess I'm going to have to go for Julian because he played most of his rugby in the professional era, because that does count in his favor.
Julian Sevilla over Jonah Lomu. I like that one. And hey, listen, you've made some great points, I think, on Jonah that I hadn't kind of thought of the amateur professional. So I think some great points there, and great points on Habana. You know, as a blindside winger, he had to come looking for work in the box system, as you said. So I think you've made some great points. That's actually a great point. I hadn't really or ever given Habana that sort of leeway.
Yeah. We have to. I think the box setup is so different from anywhere else in the world. And like I said, there are not a lot of box that I would pick in a World 15 or that would most probably fit into any other team in the world, albeit for England or New Zealand or Australia. So that changes things for South African rugby players a lot. But in our system and in our structures that we have, it works. The reason why I've won 3 World Cups.
Habana. Brian Habana. Hey, Woude, it is the end of the skip pass, but maybe we should take some questions. Dave, if we've got any questions, let's take some. And then we will go to discuss a little bit of the cricket. Dave, we got anything? All righty. Andy Hughes says, Woude, don't you think the best wing in ZA is actually the zinger? Oh man, that is very good. That's the way to end the skip pass.
I mean, should I even answer that?
No, people are impossible.
Should I even answer that?
Human beings are impossible. Hey, Woude, so your Bok team so far, do you want to quickly go through it? Montgomery at the back, so you can start at 15 and take us all the way to 11.
So I've got Percy Montgomery at the back. Then I've got on 14, I picked Cheslin Colby over JP Peterson. And a lot of people won't agree with that, but I think Cheslin is just on another level. A lot of people would like JP Peterson's size, but Cheslin's my man. On 13, I picked Jacques Fourie. On 12, like I said, I squeezed in my Jean de Villiers in there. He at least played in the 2007 World Cup. He might have not played in the finals, but he did play. And then on 11, I have Brian Habana.
Formidable team. Formidable team. So far. You got everything in that team. Hey, Woude, great stuff. That is the skip pass for today. Thank you very much. A very, very good. Woude Muller. She's picking out an electrifying team, by the way. Like, Percy's going to kick all the points in the world, and then that backline's going to take care of business so far. Hey, you're in trouble. Chip it over the top. Brian Habana, electrifying pace. Try. Habana. Woude, by the way, Julian Sevilla over Jonah Lomu. Just so people know. She's put it out there. What do you guys think? I think it's that would be an interesting conversation to have with people in New Zealand. They love Jonah Lomu. Man. Do they love Jonah Lomu? There's no one for them. And Woude, it even tore her heart to pieces to go away from Jonah. So Jonah Lomu, Julian Sevilla, I'll put that out there to the watching public. Who do you think you would pick? Very, very good. Good stuff, Woude. Let's go over to this. Look, that's the skip pass for today. That was great. But I want to finish off with this. Slightly different show today. Of course, we made some room for Lee Westwood. If you missed that, you can go to the beginning and catch the legendary man of Nottinghamshire in England. So we're going to finish off with this. The English lost, right, in the cricket. They lost. They didn't win. They lost. It's the opposite of winning. And we saw Stuart Broad. He looked like he was sitting in a Taliban cave having a whinge about not being picked. Do me a favor, mate. Do me a favor, Stuart. Are you on board or not? Are you part of the team or not? You don't get to whinge when things don't go your way. It's part of greatness. Swallow the bitter pill. You're on board or not? But here's the big news that came out today. Joe Denley, or big in some senses, Denley got dropped. Not really news for me. I think England have deeper problems. We'll take a look now as to why I think that. But I think Denley, what's he doing in the team anyway? He's not really a number 3, not really a number 4, not really a number 5. What is he giving that English middle order? And then he doesn't give you anything else. That's not good enough. I've always believed if you bet 3, 4, or 5, you've got to average 45 or more. Otherwise, you're wasting space. Because this will be controversial to South Africans. I'm not a Jonty Rhodes fan. He batted 5, and the guy, what was he averaging? Like 28, 29, just over 30. No, sir. I've never been into the Jonty hype. I'll be honest with you. Never, ever. Even back then when I was young, I was like, this guy's a batsman. Making 100 for him is like a hallelujah moment. Not into it. Listen, let me show you why England are in trouble. For our podcast audience, I will read the slides for you and read the figures as we go along. So I just want to go over England's team that lost to the West Indies in the first test. So England have made the same mistake that the Proteas have made for years and years, for 2 years in a row now. They've let the squad age on the clock. The secret of Sir Alex Ferguson, the secret of the New England Patriots with Bill Belichick, is that you always let the guys go a year early. That is the secret to sport. Never let guys age on the clock. South Africa had this problem. We let Boucher age on the clock. We let Cullis age on the clock. We let Hashim Amla age on the clock. And these guys were all at the same time, right? You've got to let people go a year early. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Now, you look at the team now up front. They let Alistair Cook get old on the clock, by the way. We could kind of see for 18 months that Alistair Cook really should have been out the team, right? They let Ian Bell age on the clock. Andrew Strauss aged on the clock. Andrew Strauss was 2 years past his prime by the time he should have been let go. Hashim Amla was 2 years past his prime by the time we should let him go. The great Jacques Cullis. I love Jacques Cullis. The greatest cricketer to ever wear a cricket kit. Triple X, but a cricket kit nonetheless. But Jacques Cullis should have been gone a year and a half ago. Hashim Amla should have been gone a year and a half ago. Faf du Plessis should have gone 3 years ago. That's between you and me. Anyway, England's issues, Dave, we could go back to that sheet, is that Burns has 16 games. Sibley has 7 games. Denley, who's 34 years old, is apparently the guy who's your future in Test cricket. I'm sorry, no. The great Ricky Ponting by 32, 33 had to get out of the Australian team. What makes you think Joe Denley, who's got a 29 average now and gives you nothing else, is the guy for a middle order for the world champions? It's not news. Guys, Denley should have been gone. He struggled against South Africa here. How bad were we there? He's got to go. So not news, really. Get rid of him. Crawley, okay, 22. He's got a 31 average there. I think they're going to back him. He's, I think, their new Ian Bell. He's going to be in that number 4. I think Root will come back. They'll look to put Crawley at 3. Because I don't think you want to expose Joe Root. You've seen Joe Root early. If you pitch it up to him, oh dear. That's all she wrote. He's uprooted. Joe Root becomes uproot. Cannot play a full ball. And a number 3 needs to be an opener as well. So Crawley capable of that. Denley, you got to go. So here's what should scare any English fan right now. The best batsman in England is Ben Stokes. And I know everyone's excited. Oh my goodness, look at all the runs he made against South Africa. And look at the Ashes. Are people aware that Ben Stokes' average is 36 after 64 games? So you haven't seen a highlights package. That's what he is. He's 36. Adam Gilchrist had a 50 test average. That's batting at number 7. Listen, Kumar Sangakkara, who was a wicketkeeper, 55. I'm just telling you what you need for your best batsman. Brian Lara in the worst team ever that the West Indies have probably ever put out. Over 50. Listen, maybe it's unfair to compare him to Lara. I'm just saying your best batsman, Jacques Kallis, 55 average. AB de Villiers, 50. Graham Smith, 49. That's your best player. I'm looking at a team here, ladies and gentlemen, where no player with anything over 15 games has an average of 40 or more. Ben Stokes should not be your best batsman. Ben Stokes, on his best day, should be a number 6 batsman. On his best day, there's no way he should be batting 5. When you have a guy with a 36 average batting number 5, you know you got a problem. You know who Australia had batting at 5? Steve Waugh. What's his average? 50. Your best player can't be averaging 36, folks. I'm sorry. England have deeper problems. Denley got to go. Ollie Pope. Now, here's the real problem. Joss Buttler has to go. Because we've seen now, he missed a shocker of a down leg, easy stumping, or catch. Really a sitter, an absolute sitter. Dropped, I think, 3 catches in this game. Butler's got to go. Ollie Pope's a better keeper than him. He's, 7 years younger than him. What is Butler giving you that you can't get from Pope? Honestly. I'll wait. He's not a better keeper, and Pope's clearly a better batsman. So what are we doing here? And you got 7 years on the young man. Let Pope develop. You give him the gloves now. Let him play. Joss Buttler is, oh my goodness, crisis of confidence. And just awful. He's an awful keeper. I don't get it. England's problems are here as well. Their bowling's mediocre. It's actually hogwash. Right? Bess, I think, is wonderful. I think he's got talent, but he needs a bit of know-how. Graham Swan, remember the thing about spinners generally get really, really good after the age of 30. Because spin, unlike fast bowling, right, is you can't do it on effort. Spin is a guile thing. And unfortunately, you can't cheat time. And Bess has to learn. We saw Graham Swan's last 3 years were probably the best of his career, right? Why? He'd had time. So he was starting to drift the ball out. And off-spinner's secret is to get the revolutions, and he needs to drift it out and create that gap between bat and pad with the right-hander. Graham Swan was the maestro of it. How many times did you see him tempt a right-hander forward? The right-hander thought, oh, I'm there because the ball's drifting out. I'm going to play maybe even if it's just a prod to the covers. Uh-oh, it's dipped, it's spun, and it's underneath your bat. It's LBW or bowled. Bess is going to have to learn that. So I think he needs time. He's 22. But Archer, Wood, Anderson. Let me tell you something about Archer. We don't know what kind of bowler he is yet. He's a T20 one-day specialist. The guy's played 8 matches. I saw Archer getting tired. How can a test bowler tell me he's tired? You're supposed to be my wicket taker. I've never seen Dale State say I'm tired. Never saw Glenn McGrath say I'm tired. Never saw Jason Gillespie, Courtney Walsh, Curtly Ambrose. Never say I'm tired. So the problem with Archer is he doesn't have enough in the gas tank. He hasn't bowled enough. I think Archer's played something like 35 first-class games. Don't get caught up in the hype of one-day cricket and him winning the World Cup. He's still not a thoroughbred. He hasn't gone through the grinder. He's not a test bowler. And he ran out of gas on the weekend. They had the West Indies on the ropes. And when he had to deliver the killer blow, he couldn't. He was out of steam. So in Wood and Anderson, right, I see mediocrity there. So I want to show you where the real problems are for England, because they're saying, oh, okay, we should have maybe played Broad. Let me show you the bowling that they've got as backup. I've never understood the hype with James Anderson, by the way. Because when I see a 26 average for a so-called great, I laugh. This isn't a lifetime achievement award. Don't give me 587 wickets. You've played 850 million matches. Anderson's average is 26.8. That is the height of mediocrity, folks. I'm sorry, you play 100, anybody in a decent team, and England are always going to be decent. If you play 152 test matches at a mediocre average of nearly 27, you're going to take 587 wickets just by a sheer force of numbers. Please don't confuse mediocrity over time and numbers. Don't let that fool you. At an average of 26.8, and he's your greatest, and then they say, oh, bring Broad back. Oh, the very special Stuart Broad, who, by the way, at 34 in 138 games has an average of 28.5. Stop it. Stop it. Absolutely stop it. It's a weight of numbers. 485 wickets for Stuart Broad at 28. I'm sorry. Listen, Jacques Kallis was as good a bowler as Stuart Broad. There we go. I've said it. Jacques Kallis gave me 10,000 runs, though. So what is Stuart Broad's value to me really long term? At 28, I'm sorry. And he's your opening bowler. You know what makes Stuart Broad a laugh, a real laugh? He's had the new ball in his hands for the last 8 years. Your average is 28.5 when you play most of your cricket at home with the Duke ball. And let's face it, most of cricket has been mediocre outside of playing Australia and South Africa on your home pitches. And you average 28.5 and you want to go and whinge on Sky Sports about boo-hoo, I didn't get picked. Here's England's problem, folks. They let too many people age on the clock. They should have let Anderson and Broad go last season. Because now, you know what's going to happen is both are going to have to leave. This is their last season. And then what do? You got Wokes, you got Wood, you got Archer, you got Bess. Really? Really? Because I can tell you what's coming. Ask the Proteas what happens when you lose Morkel, you lose Philander, you lose Steyn all at the same time. Folks, let me tell you about winning. I've been watching sports since I was 6 years old. It's a brutal business. Don't let people in sport take sentiment out the window. I don't want to hear how much he's done for us. Sport is a what have you done for me lately business. I don't, like Jacques Kallis, I don't care that he's got 10,000 runs in both forms of the game. Should have been gone 2 years ago. Amla, it doesn't take away. These are legends. Hasim Amla, we may never see another one like him in South Africa. Jacques Kallis is the greatest cricketer ever, by the way. I don't even want to hear a competition for him. But he should have been gone 2 years ago. It's what have you done for me lately? So this thing of letting people age on your clock, that's not how you win, folks. Winning is a brutal business. You've got to constantly refresh. Why do you think Man United was so successful? I keep using them. It pains me as an example. But Fergie, Ruud van Nistelrooy, out. Beckham, out. You don't age on my clock. Jaap Stam, out. Vidic, out. Ferdinand, out. Not on my clock. And that's how you win. In business. You got to have the hungriest new kids. You see these companies, the rate of turnover at these big banks, investment bankers. You look at their CVs, they've all been on 6, 7 boards by the time they're 40. Winning's a brutal business, people. It's stressful. 5, 6 years, rotate the cycle. 5, 6 years, rotate the cycle. Why do you think Australia was so good? Let's stick to cricket. Australia dropped Matthew Hayden. This is how brutal they were. Matthew Hayden, everybody thinks Hayden was Hayden since the beginning. He got dropped. Mark Waugh got dropped. Guess for who? For Steve Waugh. When they were young. It's a brutal business. Ricky Ponting, you think you're at the top? Ain't working out. Pup, you next man up. Michael Clark, you've been great for us. You averaged, 49 and a bit. Guts to go. And Michael Clark wanted to keep playing. We all saw that speech. Adam Gilchrist, at the top of your game. Not going to happen. Brad Haddon's in the house. You guts to go. And it's not your decision. Never let players, and the thing about the Broad's decision, I want to say this is my last point. Broad, what he said on Sky Sports, Ed Smith and the selectors would be stupid to let the player dictate when he retires. Because players, much like boxers, right? Players don't know when it's over. The ego's too big. They've always been the man. If you want to win, folks, don't let players age on your clock. England's problems are far deeper than just Denley and bringing in Stuart Broad. They allow the squad to age, and it is far, far too late, folks. England, if you're an English fan, the Three Lions are in for a torrid time. Believe me, I'm a South African fan. I've just seen South Africa in the space of 15 months. A.B. de Villiers, Hashim Amla, Jacques Kallis, all gone. Oh, is that all? No, it's not. Vernon Philander, Dale Steyn, Morne Morkel. We didn't manage the process. We should have retired one at a time over the last 18 months. You look at the Proteas now. one of the worst teams on the planet. That's my take, folks. I'd love to know. If you're an English fan, let me know. Liam Bex says, interested to hear who you would have replaced Cullis, Amla, and Dupi with 3 years ago. Look, Liam, let me tell you something. Even if there's nobody, what you do is you swallow the bitter pill slowly. What you need to do is a little bit of what you call honey with the medicine. So you don't necessarily get rid of all three of them at the same time, right? Is when Cullis went, what we should have gone was, who's going next? It was almost like, okay, we're going to let the players play until he falls on his own sword, which is what we did with Amla. Amla played 2 years too long. So what you do, just like we do with Jacques Cullis, we've got really short memories in this country. In Jacques Cullis' first 10 innings, I believe he had, was it 5 or 6 ducks? I'll have to confirm that. We have really, really short memories about how you let young players come into the game. If you look at AB de Villiers' record, you remember we were messing him around as an opening batsman? His average in his first season, I think, was about 19 for the Proteas. So when new players come in, let's not pretend like Jacques Cullis was always Jacques Cullis. Herschel Gibbs, when he came in, painful. He'd get to 25 and then he'd try and reverse hook, I don't know, uppercut sweep somebody at 150 kilometers an hour and would be out, right? Young players, you've got to suffer that pain a little bit at the beginning. My problem, Liam, is now we have to suffer the pain. Now Alga's our only senior player. So the reason I say is the team has to be strong, is you have to phase the great players out. So for me, you bring in what we see, Markram and these new guys, you bring them in slowly. So immediately when we could see that Amla's slightly off it, he's got to go then, we bring Markram in, and then you back Markram, because we did it with Cullis. Don't pretend Jacques Cullis was Jacques Cullis. Jacques Cullis took 18 months to develop into an international class player. So Liam, my point is not to say just get rid of people gung-ho. My point is when you see the slip-off, cut them then. You don't wait for the slip-off to be an absolute catastrophe. And then, even worse, you don't wait for the catastrophe to be 3 guys at the same time. Because AB was gone. Faf is now gone. Amla's now gone. Now we've lost all 3 of them at the same time. And now people are going, oh my word, who's next? Whereas you bring in one, okay, you're preparing, and you let the senior player know, this is your last season. You're preparing the next guy. That's my point there, Liam. And Liam, great question. Great question. Would love to hear what people think. Are England in trouble? Am I wrong? Is Joe Root going to come back? Is he the miracle man? Ladies and gentlemen, today, an absolute honor for me to speak to one of the greatest, Lee Westwood. Woude Muller picked. Oh, man, she has got a stunning backline going already. Brina Banner is her 11. And for today, it has been a different ballgame. Cannot wait to see you tomorrow.